Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. During the month of March, we're going to be looking at WrestleMania matches, some classic WrestleMania matches, some in different ways than others, but we're going to be looking at that for the month of March. But before we do that, and I guess before the month of February is over, I had only reviewed WF matches so far in 2025. Let's change that. Let's see what WCW's up to. Now, Ric Flair has had a lot of classic rivalries. Terry Funk has had a lot of classic rivalries. But one classic rivalry that each man has had was with each other. And this match is technically the final chapter in that, so maybe I should go back in the archives and watch their other matches before then. But I did want to check out this match, and I'm glad I was finally able to. A very classic match for a lot of people, defined by two words. Well, technically one word and one letter. I quit. I'm talking about Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in an I Quit match at NWA WCW Clash of the Champions 9. So, as always, I'm not professional wrestling viewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had a really, really great time with this match. A classic match, I Quit match for a lot of people in a lot of people's minds, and glad I'm finally able to review it for the channel. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. So starting with what I liked, this match was very physical. This match definitely felt like a fight. Now I've talked previously on the channel with other matches before about those matches that just feel like a knockdown, drag-out fight. If you're not going to have a technical masterpiece, is to at least have an exciting, full-on fight/brawl. And sometimes it does backfire a little bit. Sometimes they go a little heavy-handed with it. Pun partially intended, but I think in this case it really worked. With Ric Flair and Terry Funk just beating the crap out of each other all around the arena in Troy, New York, or throwing each other off the barricades onto the floor. Terry Funk even getting a couple pile drivers in on Ric Flair, and the story throughout being Terry Funk trying to convince Ric Flair to say that he quits. Even before the match begins, Terry Funk getting on the microphone saying that Flair can quit right now, and there'll be no need for a match, saying he's gonna punch Flair, he's gonna hurt Flair, and Terry Funk's shtick throughout the match is hilarious. It adds to the match, of course. It kind of adds to the drama of the match, but it's also pretty hilarious, especially the way he kind of oversells. It's not like that malicious, dumb overselling, at least to my knowledge, that, like, say, Shawn Michaels did at SummerSlam '05. But it did bring a big old smile to my face, and which, if you haven't already, go check out my review of Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005. I think you're going to enjoy it. But, yeah, so Terry Funk being over the top in a lot of his mannerisms was pretty funny. But him punching Flair and him getting the majority of the offense in on Flair, I think was very well executed. Flair coming back. Eventually, he working on Terry Funk's leg. A scary spot with Flair going on to the table at ringside. Funk launching him onto the table and nailing that devastating pile driver. And it's crazy that back then the pile driver was treated like a big deal. And now, several years later in 2025, and I guess technically he's kind of starting in 2024, carrying over to 2025. Now the pile driver is getting kind of that distinction / recognition again as being this big devastating move courtesy of Kevin Owens, and so it's pretty cool there, and I'm sure that was more than likely done on purpose by Owen, and of course he does love to pay homage to the greats, but even nailing that pile driver and the way they're selling it, really on commentary, they're selling it like this big fight, this big exciting fight and brawl, and really putting over the stakes of one of these men saying that they quit ultimately it is Terry Funk who does ultimately say that he quits, which I'm sure you probably could have seen coming, but still the way they went about it with Flair attacking Funk's leg, finally he locking in the figure four till Terry Funk pretty much screams that he quits, and adding even more to the shtick, like Terry Funk like flopping around making all kinds of noise and stuff like that, almost sounding like Boomhauer from King of the Hill, or even Hank Hill when he is pretty angry. Sadly we didn't get a bois from Terry Funk, but we almost did, but Funk ultimately submitting to the figure four, saying that he quit. And of course there's them having the microphone throughout, and kind of the shtick with the microphone. Terry Funk saying, he doesn't want to hurt Flair. He's not gonna hurt him too bad. Just say that he quit. Trying to coax Flair into quitting was pretty funny. The shtick throughout the match is really what helps elevate it even more. Or so, kind of the intertwining of the storytelling and the physical aspect of the match as well. I think kind of the best of both worlds is what makes this a really fun and exciting and awesome match here. And then afterwards, both Flair and Funk attacked by the Great Muta, Gary Hart, who turns on Terry Funk. He was kind of there managing. And they're managing Terry Funk at ringside, and then Lex Luger coming in, and Lex Luger does come in after Sting tries to make this say, wow, it's crazy to think how intertwined. You talk about intertwined careers, how crazy. It's crazy to see how much Sting and Ric Flair's careers have been intertwined as rivals, as friends. Sting was even part of the Four Horsemen for a time. I'm like to see their intertwining of careers. A lot of people even say the same about Sting and Lex Luger, or several other, or even Sting and Hulk Hogan for a lot of people. But Sting and Ric Flair, to see how intertwined their careers have been, where one goes, it seems like the other almost follows, and them interacting so much, having so much kind of history building up between the two, I kind of wanted to point that out for this match here. It's crazy when you think about it, and the places wrestling takes you. And obviously, as you're in the business, you have people that you naturally click with, and I guess Sting and Ric Flair kind of had that dynamic. So Sting making the save for Flair, ultimately unsuccessful. The Calvary did not work this time around. Now, in terms of what I didn't quite like, or perhaps some things that maybe some people could knock against this match, if you're looking for a technical masterpiece, this match isn't gonna do it. It definitely not a technical masterpiece, because, or like supreme technical wizardry between the two. You're not gonna find it here, mainly because it's not that type of match, and it's not the story that was being sold in the match. So it's almost rendered moot and almost rendered kind of a non-point, but. This is definitely far from a technical masterpiece, but also I think a little too punch heavy and a little too chop heavy from Ric Flair, and punch heavy from Terry Funk and Ric Flair, and a little too chop heavy from Ric Flair throughout the match. Now I get it. I get why it's there to add to that fight aspect of the match, but a little too almost boring on a little excessive. But it fits the match, and it fits the style of the match. So I'm not super duper upset by it. It kind of pointing out a little bit. But yeah, still a really fun and awesome match, and I definitely recommend you check it out if you haven't already. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments below which other matches you want to see, and what your thoughts are on this match. Also, something I forgot to mention in the match, I think, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think it's the first match I've heard commentary from Gordon Solie. Jim Ross and Gordon Solie, a dream team for a lot of people. But first time I heard commentary from Gordon Solie, and excuse me, absolutely fantastic on commentary. So I definitely gotta check out more matches with him involved. I don't think I mentioned back in my Heroes of Wrestling review that he was supposed to be on the call for Heroes of Wrestling, but that fell through. He was dealing with, I believe, that's when he was dealing with his cancer, and ultimately he ended up passing away in 2000. And but yeah, first match I'm reviewing from Gordon Soling. I think he did really well here to really put over the match. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And of course, like I said, let me know in the comments below if there's any other match recommendations. Now, WrestleMania is kind of penciled in, locked in, and the WrestleMania matches we're going to be reviewing. And I think, and I know I say this quite a bit, but I definitely think I chose some fun ones this year, especially. But if you do have any match recommendations in the future, or please let me know, whether you let me know in the comments, or you can message me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or I have all three of those socials. Send me a message there, or pretty much any way you're able to get a hold of me. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.